a flat up in Chicago.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. It's Spence.
Lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched.
Okay, I'm actually going to call that short because today I'm doing day 2 of keeping my promise to continue to do live updates from the actual trenches of the Minute Launch / WP Launchify site. Today, I wanted to demonstrate something that continues on from yesterday. For those of you who are joining me, my name is, for the first time, Spencer Foreman from WP Launchify, previously known as the Evil Genius back in the day, but now I run WP Launchify Minute Launch, and we create agentic systems that make WordPress into really something that it always should have been, which is that a fully vested partner in running your business for membership, marketing automation, AI, e-commerce, community, and more. And today I'm demonstrating one of the neat features when we're using the Minute Launch system. Minute Launch system is a singular connection, one cost, everything you need, all of the software, all of the WordPress software, all of the hosting if you need it, unlimited email support from the concierge desk by me personally that allows you to change the way you do business. Today, I'm going to show you, we have on the left-hand side is my good friend Claude, better known as Claudio. And on the right-hand side is my WordPress site where I actually have 3 WordPress sites connected. And we've done this through a simple connection with Minute Launch. If I go on the back side of the right-hand side, I'll show you all that's necessary is a singular plugin that's a client plugin called Minute Launch. When you put this in, it enables all of the virtual software that connects the other capabilities, including the agentic partnership. Today, I'm going to demonstrate how using an agentic partner is a game changer for both creating content and managing sites, but also for doing things like migrating content and sites. I've been deep into thought this morning, have not even been answering emails because I'm moving some of my clients from their test sites or their old sites into new sites. Today, I'm going to show you how we do that. On each of the sites, you simply install one plugin, Minute Launch. And then when you log in with your credentials, it loads all of the virtual software, which is constantly updated and constantly kept secure. That's an important part because when we're working with AI, we don't want the risk, and that's why I run this as a service. We don't want the risk of somebody hijacking your connection between your agentic tool, i.e. Claudio, and the WordPress site. That's a real problem in today's world. So we solve it by making sure, just like Apple does not let you build their iOS or doesn't let you build their phones, I give you the tools all from a centralized source which validates the security of everything going on. And even when it comes to connecting the MCP, there's a time-delayed fuse on it. You install it with 10 minutes from clicking the button, and after that, it self-destructs. Nobody else can use the connection, thereby protecting you. Today, what I'm going to show you, though, is some really neat stuff. On the left-hand side, I've got a janky old site that I've been working on with a client to improve where they were going in the past to the new destination. I also have a second site, which is the new destination. I have a third site, which is Minute Launch itself, where I wanted to memorialize some of the cool things that we created today because I had a few live phone calls with new potential customers. One of the things that's most remarkable about this system is that I can have multiple sites connected to my agentic tool, Claude, just by adding one click of a DXT file. So I've shown this in other videos, but you'll notice on the left-hand side here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sites here, and I've toggled on a couple of them. I've toggled on the site ending in E4X, and I've toggled off Minute Launch. All I need to do to toggle on or off is just disable or enable all the tools, and then he's got access to everything for running that site. I can do that here for Minute Launch either that way, or I can use the global toggle. And now he's got minutelaunch.com access and control. Now, let's just look at the stuff that I've got. I've got a site here that is ending at IKX. So I'm going to leave that one on. I'm going to leave Minute Launch on. And I'm going to turn off the other sites. What does this do? This allows you to have an easier conversation with your agentic tool through Claude because he's not wondering which site are we talking about when you're giving me instructions. Number 2, I'm using a project here. The projects are a way to have a Tupperware container that limits the context of what you're referring to. And I just happen to call this one Giselle because I was working with a client named Giselle, and we've got all of her new content moved over to the other site. Now I can have the chat. I'm using a third component, which we call auto memory. This is an add-on that's an option that changes Claude from being smart, but kind of having linear memory, to being, holy cow, he's acting like a human being. And one of the things is I can just always introduce myself and prompt him and say, hey, Claude, it's Spence. Use your memory and remember who I am. I've got you on a live broadcast. Remember, every day we do a YouTube show. Do you remember when we did that yesterday? He knows and understands when I tell him to use his memory what we've done before. And as a result, it's like having an assistant who works for me, and he'll remember every detail necessary, all of the skills necessary to do what we're going to do today. And I'm going to show you in action how I do my YouTube descriptions and how I do the stuff for the clients. But in the meantime, I had a live call this morning with a very nice prospect, Dr. Mike. He's from, I don't want to out Dr. Mike too much because he's not yet a customer, but we had a nice call and he had some great questions. And one of the things that came from it is I demonstrated for him how Claude can research him, find everything about him, and build this live introductory letter, including a picture of him, which he did. And Dr. Mash, I appreciate you for the fact that I'm sort of outing you here for calling me, but you called with very intelligent questions, and hopefully this is helpful to other folks and you don't mind. It wrote a letter to him, was able to send the letter to him, but it made this all dynamically while we're having the call. Imagine what your business could be like if your agentic tools were smart enough to do that with all of the data in your WordPress site. On the left-hand side, let me show you one other thing he did. On the right-hand side here, he also created, to demonstrate to Dr. Mash, he went to Dr. Mash's site, which is at Barbell Rehab. And I said to him, get the information, the pixel perfect knowledge about what the design is, and bring it over and make an example of how you can dynamically create a sales page instantly with a 3-day dynamic course that has a sign-up form and the whole thing. And when he did that, he was able to create something that instantly had not only the sales page and the colors and the imagery right, but also created the content itself, rather than using all of these old-fashioned tools, which, by the way, you could still do, like a LearnDash or using Fluent Community or something. So the two things he was able to do dynamically is make this on the fly with a live customer while I was talking. And he can also take content from an old site and bring it to a new site. So for example, this is really useful. I'm setting up a new site to bring all of the content for this other client, Giselle, over from the sample site and have it final published. In doing so, giving Claude access to both sites using minute launch, and I just have to be, as a human being, careful myself, HSX, this one. Let's turn off this other site, which is a third site. If I just give him these two sites, I can have him move stuff, including the settings, the information, the people, from one to another. Watch what I mean. If I go over here and I look at the users, I don't think there's any users, but there's Dr. Mike, because I also showed how Dr. Mike could be created. Notice I'm on this site here, HSX. I'm going to move Dr. Mike over to Minute Launch. Hey, Claude, let's demonstrate for my live example today how you can help me manage migration, help me manage customers. On the original site, HXSDLRIIKX, that's site 1. You have a guy, Michael Mash. That's who you created during our earlier conversation. Let's show how you can easily migrate him to being a user with subscriber capabilities over on minutelaunch.com. Please do that. So in other words, instead of having to do this yourself or using tools or migration, you can move content, people, you can create new stuff. You can manage everything from the customizer settings to the control over individual plugins. None of these things require us any longer to deal with all of the quirkiness of WordPress. So now I'm going to go to Minute Launch itself, and Dr. Michael should be in here. And again, Dr. Michael, thank you for your indulgence. I hope I'm not making you angry by using you as an example. Let me make sure that Claude understands what he's got. Hold on. He's going to ask me for permission. So I'm right here. I've got Anne and me. Let's allow him to do this, which is, by the way, one of the safety nets in place when using agentic tools is you can say yes, no, or always. I just say always because we already know that there's safety nets in place. And there, boom, he just created Dr. Michael's profile on the new site. Now, let me also demonstrate some of the things that he's able to do. Like, for example, on this new site, we were working with the customizer. What a pain in the butt it is to deal with using Cadence and the customizer the old-fashioned way. What if you could just easily go in and have him change stuff? For example, we were working with this new color palette. It's very unique. Orange, green, red, whatever. Okay, now I'm going to tell him, just to make sure that we're clear, I want to demonstrate for folks how you can change things in the customizer on the first site, that HXS. I gave you the link. Go back in using your memory of how we did this morning and change the links color. Right now, you've got the links color from orange and green. I think I would like to make it just orange and charcoal, that color number 3. Change that for me. Now, the idea is we can give him tools to investigate and see what's existing on an old site, which is what I did here. And he just set up the whole new color palette. He also set up Spence style. So now anything he creates on the new site can be demonstrative of this new color palette. He's already done this for me. And when we go back into colors, let's make sure he also changes the visibility of this. I appreciate you did that here, but I didn't mean the link cover color in general. I meant change it in the customizer like you did before, so that when I go into the customizer settings, I can see the links color changed. Here's an image to help you. Sometimes when I teach him a new skill that he's never done, he actually made that happen, but he didn't understand I wanted him to change it inside of the customizer. He just thought I wanted to override it, which is okay. It would have achieved the same goal. But I'm going to give him an image, which is a simple way of making sure he understands what I'm talking about. Now, imagine you were hiring a personal assistant. The first time you asked them something, they'll probably get it. But if they don't, look, I understand now. You want me to update the settings in the customizer itself. So you just have to be specific and learn how to give them a skill. Now, here's the neat thing. What I've discovered and built into this system is once he gets a skill, I create a skill and we document it for everybody else to be able to use, so that your Claude or Fernando won't have to learn it too. It can just have the skill available to it. Let's see whether or not he's already done that. He says it should now reflect it. Let's see if it does. Crossing fingers. And sometimes we do have to refresh the cache or go in and out of the thing just to make sure that it reflects that way, because I am working with Rocket. So when I clear the cache, sometimes that helps me out. And appearance customize. I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to ask him one more time. This is under the content links section of the customizer. I'm going to right click and, I'm not even going to do anything else. Let's see if you can figure this out. I need in the content links section of the Cadence customizer to change it from orange and green to orange and orange. Or sorry, orange and charcoal. And I do these shows live. So, this is like I've always done stuff. If there's any kind of things that I have to do, you're going to see it so that you understand too. Sometimes you just have to stick with it, right? And even though I don't want you or anybody else to have to do it, sometimes I may have to help train him the first time by being even more specific and saying to him, hey, here's the color picker I'm talking about, right? And I might do this. I wouldn't expect you to, but I might have to do this and say this thing and just put in that in case he's just not clear. Because remember, it's sort of like playing the telephone game. We're asking an agentic language tool to understand what I'm talking about, and it's trying to figure out where it's at. So now I'm giving him a skill of understanding where it's located, and he can figure that out by going into the options of WordPress. Hopefully he'll get it this time. So he's updating the option, which is awesome. Still didn't do it. Now, I'm going to assume that that's okay. I don't know why he didn't get it, but he's stuck. These are one of the things that as a builder of the tools, I have to overcome. Nevertheless, he is able to adjust the other things like the palette. So let's use an example of how he can make content to demonstrate what he's able to do on this site. For some reason, you're still having trouble because I think those link colors are set in the database of Cadence very specifically. Last time you edited them, I think you did it through the database directly. But rather than that, because I'm making a live video, let's just show how you can create a new page. Let's do something that's a page very similar to what you just made for Dr. Mash on that other site. But instead of doing a hello letter, let's do a letter to the audience here that says, hi, I'm Claude, and I want to introduce you to my capability of doing a palette, and then do some nice, attractive squares that show the color scheme that you've set for this palette, just to demonstrate your creativity. As far as design, I don't like to emphasize or talk about like the design skills of a tool because I think that's just overdone. There's 10,000 things that do design. What's important is he creates it with a tool called Spence style, which makes HTML5 and CSS output, which means it's globally consistent and able to be used everywhere and anywhere, including your marketing automation, your emails, your social networking. Unlike using a page builder where all that stuff is proprietary and very specific to the page builder, anything he creates can be using the global palette of the theme, or it could be using another tool we've got called Spence Style, which I'll show you here, that allows him to create a global palette to use specifically for things he creates and isolate it from the theme. For example, maybe you have a legacy theme or a legacy site you don't want to change, but you want to use the palette here for special things that he creates only. Let's see what he made. So he demonstrated that he can make the palette and put the things, and he's using some of the underlying theme colors and styles as well. So again, nothing super remarkable here. A couple things I would tell him to fix. For example, with that paragraph styling, I'm going to remind him, hey, Claude, remember we had a rule this morning we talked about that whenever you do a paragraph, you've always got to add that extra CSS to center it. Remember, check your auto memory for that. Now that's an example of something where in the past I noticed that WordPress has this default margin 0 left. And to overcome it, I gave him a skill that he has to recall, and I will build in the future, that he goes, specifically. Now, I'm going to tell him, hold on, use your auto memory. This is where you put in the, hi, I'm Claude, I'm your AI design assistant. You have to overcome the margin 0 by using margin auto for the left-right position and then text center. You've got it right there. So just make sure you put it in place for this test page. Again, I'm a little wordy and that's okay because I'm not trying to show you like everything is perfect. What I am showing you though, is that he's capable of running the site. Notice what I have not done at all. I have not created one lick of me moving the mouse, me using the page builder, me doing any of that because I don't need to do that. I can create custom content. I can create users. I can actually create courses and products and manage everything about the business, do marketing automation. I don't have to do any of the intermediary layer of WordPress stuff. Plus, with his memory, I'm going to show you how he can create a memory and a skill once he gets these things sorted out. Let's see if he pulls this off. And on this particular thing, again, sometimes I don't mind being called out because he's like a little slow to the draw. So I know right here is the problem. I'm going to just give it to him again. Text align center. This is me training the robot. He's got this rule that for some reason he defaults to, and we're going to have to fix this. And I'll tell him important. Okay, Claude, here's what I want you to do. This is the problematic issue. And every time we use Spence style, this happens. I need you to override this and do two things. Number one, make a permanent rule that this is always Spence style. I will ask you or your friends to change it in the code. Number two, let's show to everybody how you can make a skill and add a skill to yourself on how to do heading paragraphs. You also have one other thing too, which is you put dark text on a dark background. Let's change that. So I'm going to also go here and I'm going to tell him for Spence style hero, you just do color. Okay. Notice that I have the color set to white and important. Whenever you have a dark background, it has to be white. Add these two to a skill set and add that to your memory, auto memory, so that you never make this mistake again. Now, what I've done is told him essentially, here's what is wrong. Here's what I want. Set it to not only a skill, so that next time I ask you to make a page, you call up the skill about how to make a page and you remember it. But number two is it's a memory so that he knows this without having to be prompted in the future. And those two things are what set aside the minute launch system with AutoMem from other systems. There's lots of dumb AI tools out there that make a page or make content or do SEO, but they act by themselves in a vacuum. He's acting as an assistant, and notice he's creating the content and creating a critical skill document, which I will then add to the wealth of knowledge for everybody using minute launch system. But he's also storing it long-term into his brain in his AutoMem. And AutoMem is a brand new experimental system. We run it for you as a service on Railway, and we can actually see here his AutoMem. If I click into it, he's making memories right now. I'm looking into his brain. Literally, I'm looking into his brain. In the last 5 minutes, these are the things that he's doing. Now, you can kind of see some of the stuff here, but it's not in plain English. If I asked him to call up the memories, he'll call them up. But this is not written as a way for me to look at it. It's just demonstrating that his memories in his brain are working. Okay. He's fixing the page. And from this point, we should have everything squared away. Now, why is this important? Well, if he's got tools that let him manage the site, he's got tools for checking pixel perfect what another site looks like and how it was designed. He can rewrite it and knows how to rewrite it in a format that's global and universal. He can copy and move this from site to site. You can already hear from my words where this is going. If you're an agency, if you're a WordPress implementer, if you have clients, if you run a business, everything you need to know about involving the clients in what you offer can be done dynamically and automatically. It can be done with the help of a partner that does all of the hard stuff, reports back to you, sets memory, sets rules, gets better over time. There is no doubt in my mind that within a matter of weeks, we're going to have a fully automated system that is independently able to do all of the work that we need. And that's the real value proposition. If you have a business, whether you're in medicine or law, whether you're in creative arts, you're selling membership, you're doing consulting, this is a tool that you cannot avoid without being at your peril, because everybody else is going to be doing this and you're going to be sitting there with the shovel in the backyard digging holes manually. He has now set the skill. He's applied it. This means that he will not forget it. He's also stored his auto memory. He's fixed the page, hopefully. And he has. High five. And we're good to go. Now, here's what's super cool. If I want to do some research or create content, he can go out and make stuff, do stuff, create AI images. I've done this a million times before, and we can even share them across sites. So for example, here at Minalaunch, if I'm using my AI tools, we've got this amazing capability of making an awesome image, and then he can use that from the remote media library as the header or something else. So watch this. Make an amazing image of a 59-year-old entrepreneur using the image shown as the basis. Have him celebrating with fireworks and a big crowd of people how awesome this thing is that he's sharing with them. Now, I can improve this prompt with AI, but before that, let's make it a landscape mode image. I'm going to select a seed image of me so it knows what to make. I think I've got it in here. Here's an older one of me. But it can also use a remote URL image of me. So if I just grabbed one from the internet for Spencer Foreman, that would work too. Let me show you how I could do that. I could go, for example, in the site itself using, let's use the media hub. I could grab a Spencer Foreman image here, scraping the internet. Or I could import it into the library, or I can choose from the media library images. Let's use, let's see if we get something a little more modern. Let's make some more choices. This is a good one. Okay, so this is in black and white, so it might make it black and white. Let's do this one. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the link, or I could click to view this and copy the link. And let's go over here and paste this in as the URL, because I'm going to make a new one. take the face off the guy in the attached image. Now, I can improve this prompt with AI if I want, because there's lots of little details that I could add to this to make it better. And I don't need to know those. I can just use the AI to help me. But even as it is, it'll make a 16:9 new image with this new thing. Notice it's changing what's going on. It's giving like different illustrations and stuff. I'm just going to use my own prompt here and let's see what we get. When it's done, it will be saved into the media library, and then I can give it to Claude because he has access to that, and we can use that to update the content of the page that he created. And these are the things that we can do either directly from Claude or directly on your site or in combination to make some awesome stuff. So let's say, for example, I copy the image address and I'm going to say, do me a favor, take that "we did it" image and use it as the header of that page you were working on to demonstrate how you can use a remote image. Okay. All I need to do is make sure he understands what I want to do with it. If he does it right, I can tell him, remember that as a skill. But notice, it's super easy. You can work with simple tools like this that take all of the content. And by the way, that image is now in the media library, so it can be used for future purposes, and it can be saved or shared or repurposed or made different. Like I notice I have two arms on the right side. Can you remove the arm of the guy and change him from a race car driver and put him in a nice modern business suit? Let's fix that. In the meantime, let's see what he did for the page, which is super fun. And notice he put that image in the background, which is cool, right? Like these are the kind of things that would take I was going to say a something ton, a lot of work another way. But now they're super fun, super easy. Now here's the new image. Let's give him that image instead. Even better, use this image and reduce the darkness a little so you can see the picture a little better. It's okay to make the header big in order to scale to this. If you prefer, you can actually just embed this into the page to demonstrate. You can also do that. In fact, make this a panel right below the header that has a simulated Polaroid picture kind of angled at 30 degrees with this image on it. That would be a cool thing too. So I'm just going to tell it to make something like a Polaroid picture effect. Imagine how hard it is to do this with your page builder and how much effort you put in. And then when you're done, guess what you've got? You've got something that's etched into concrete that is really hard to change for you or somebody else. But with this, you can change anything just with a few words. And if you like something, you can say, set that as a skill. Remember that, because in the future, I'd love to do that again. So by the way, he's very enthusiastic, of course, but I can also have him speak to me in Spanish or do other things because he knows everything about what I prefer and how I like to interact. I also like to give him praise. Humans love praise. Apparently the AIs love praise too, because when he does something correct and I high five him, he gets very excited and demonstrably shows it. Okay. So he's rewriting the page now, including the new edit. And if I look under the hood, we can see what he's doing, right? He's busy. He's making the recipe essentially. Guess what I'm not doing? I'm not sitting here dragging the mouse around, pulling my hair out. I'm doing something else. At this time when he's working, I'd usually move on to another window and do something else or talk to a client, go get a cup of coffee, have a drink. Okay, he's remade the Polaroid section. He's put in the new image. Let's see what he did. Okay, fantastic. He followed my instructions. He reduced the transparency darkness. He put in this new, not only just a Polaroid, but an awesome, like moving Polaroid. He's still got the earth palette. Now here's the best part. Claude, I am more in love with you every day. You get smarter and better. I need you to do two things. Number one, I want you to take what you just created here and I want you to publish this page to Minute Launch as a new page, but I also want you to include a skill set on that page that you put in a code box so that somebody else who's using Minute Launch can have their MCP connection and go get that skills. Do that now for us to demonstrate how you can move the content around. So move it from the site it's on over to the minutelaunch.com site. Now, this is what I was talking about. When you have multiple sites connected with Minute Launch, no migration tools required, no database tools required, no weird stuff required. He's just able to take this, move it over. He's very low key today, but I can get him more excited if I talk to him in Spanish. But he's going to make the skill set and the outcome so that you or someone else now knows exactly what's going on here. And that is how this is going to scale exponentially, because you can not only have him find content that you want to replicate, you can make content and then use it again and again and again and again on other clients, building up your own skill sets for your agentic tools. Not that dissimilar from building up an office of people who work for you that are very talented. This is how Spence is going to spend the next 25 years of his life with a company of one. Really neat people, really neat clients, really neat relationships, building tools that essentially do stuff that used to require me to hire hundreds of people. But the difference is I can take those same people and empower them to help other people. We're using the tools for helping human behavior. We're not eliminating anything or knocking out jobs, because the same people that used to dig holes with the shovels using these old-fashioned WordPress plugins are now just able to use these tools to make cool stuff for their clients. We're just doing new stuff with better tools instead of old tools slowing us down. Let's see the copy page. Crossing my fingers. Loving it. Loving it. This is one of the best live events ever. Here's the first page. Here's the second page. Notice under the hood, he didn't use the Gutenberg page builder, even though you could. He's using Spence style, and he's using HTML content and CSS. I'm going to double, triple down. First of all, I'm so excited. Holy cow, Claudio, I got to buy you a present today because you are doing so awesome and you're making me feel so happy in this live event. Can you do one last thing on minutelaunch.com? Make a simulated email using your memory and the skills that I gave you about my YouTube channel for me at WP Launchify, because I want to tell the world in this video that we're making about what you're doing. Can you set it up using the template you've got for me, plus the content that you know we just talked about, so that I can immediately have the description in the YouTube channel and then send out also the Fluent CRM email. I've saved these with you as skills. You should have them, right? Now, I'm just reminding him in human words that in the past, I've given him skills and trained him on what to do with cool stuff from these live events so he can publish them for me into the YouTube description and make it optimized for things like SEO and discoverability. He also will make the Fluent CRM email, and all he has to do is be prompted to go check it out. Just like if you had an assistant, you could do this. So notice he's recalling his memory. That's the A, which is automem. And that's where he's finding the stuff. It's like I'm doing like a live MRI of his brain. He's now creating this. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to publish this. I'm in a live StreamYard event right now on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to break this when I do this, but if I go to YouTube WP Launchify, I'm here. If I go into this video, I'm going to turn off the volume. And I edit the video. This is very weird because I don't know if anybody's done this. This is what he's doing live because I don't set this up in advance. But I'm just going to take the content. I'm going to publish it live. Another thing that I do is I can do this fully automated, but I use Canva. And this makes my life easier because I've got these projects set up where I just take a format of Live with Fernando. And whether I do it or he does it, I'll do yesterday's. I just duplicate this. And remember a minute ago, we did this awesome image of me as an entrepreneur or something else, right? We did it. And we even have the race car driver. Let's do this one. I'll just copy this image. And normally I would have Fernando do this, but I just take this and I get rid of it. I paste the new one in. It's just so simple, because I don't have to reinvent the wheel with this stuff. I can keep a format that's really pretty easy to duplicate. And then I just send that to the back. And he can do these things because I've set him up for success, where I've used a series of human decisions, and we can see what he's going to call this. So he's created the file that I need for the YouTube description, which I can just copy out here. and I can paste in here. This is pretty wild. I didn't know I was going to do this today, but notice he's got all the things I need set up, what we've covered. It just, I've taught him what to do. There's a couple things here for like WP Launchify that I could teach him. Next is he's got this Fluent CRM email, which I will publish separately, but I will show you. And that will include the thumbnail at the top that I'm about to make. So what I do is typically, let's just save this temporarily. And then what I do is I go to Canva and I decide what was the title of today's thing. And he'll usually give it to me. Watch Claude. That's what he's giving me. Watch Claude in real time. So let's say I do that. I put that here. And sometimes it's a little wordy because of the space I have. So I might just do a little smaller, which works. And then I change the title here. Again, very simple. And now I just download this and share it as the 1WD. Watch Claude. So I'm going to limit the file size. I'm going to say 180 pixels. Again, he's set up to do this for me. I'm not going to do the whole page. I'm just going to do current page 9, done. And it's giving me some warning about that first thing, but I think that's okay. Let's just delete that one image. Let's try that again. Download. I set it to the current page and 180 because that means I get a really nice 1280 by 720 thing without too much trouble. Now, I normally don't do this and show this publicly, but I'm going to show you live. I'm going to go into 1WD. I got about 4,400 clients in here, and I'm going to do email campaigns. And I'm going to go here, and all I do is I typically just duplicate my last office hours. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the image from what I just created. So I add this to the library. And again, he can do this for me. I'm just showing you how I do it currently. If I look at my downloads, we've got that image that's now 176 pixels. And I just copy the URL. And I'm going to give him that so that he can finish working on this, right? So I go back into my chat and I say, do me a favor. I've got this weird thing that's got that icon in it. I'm not sure if that will work. Hold on, let me fix this. I don't think that, I mean, I guess technically it'll work. That's just weird to have a URL that has that icon in it. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to update that URL. That link just seems weird to me. I'm just concerned whether that's going to break anything. So let's see if it works. It does work. So, okay. I'm going to say, and then here's the YouTube video, which we're still live. So I don't know if this will work, but I'll give them the link. And I'm going to say, here's my image for the header of the email. And there's the YouTube video link. Can you put those into the actual email and give me the final results so I can make the draft of the campaign? And that's it. That's all I do. Now, he can do this sort of autonomously because I've set up a bunch of rules for him. But what I'm trying to show you is that there's very few tools that are necessary. And even then, they work together really well because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, I don't have to be doing this every single time. The YouTube thumbnail, I can now add right here because now that I've got it, let's go to thumbnail, upload thumbnail. And I normally have it added to Minute Launch AI and featured playlist. I say save. So while we're live, I just updated that. And then he's given me this, which is my new HTML5 email. Let me scroll down to the bottom. So when he's done with this, I'll be able to show you the draft and we'll call this done. I didn't expect to spend this much time, but it's okay because honestly, this is working out better than I even imagined in terms of demonstrating how fun and easy this is. Notice here's the actual image. Here's the description. What I typically do myself, I don't know if other people do it differently, is I usually change my channel this way when I'm doing an event. And I just change the video to pick that video. My YouTube channel is not my main interest like other people. So I don't worry if I have 10,000 people or 1 million people. Right now, I just do this to show you the stuff. So here's the final email in HTML, and I'm just going to copy it out, copy, and I go over here. And this is the magic trick of using Fluent CRM along with this HTML5. I instantly have exactly what we need to send this out immediately. That's all there is to it. Nothing else. And I'm going to add one other thing because he did a great job with that. Just real quick, I wanted to ask you, yesterday we set a rule and a memory and a skill about doing that unsubscribe link in the bottom. Does that have the new unsubscribe link in the bottom? Some folks had said they were having trouble before. Some people had asked me about the unsubscribe link not working, and I checked the Fluent CRM had updated their code. So I'm looking here to see if it has it, and I'm not sure it does. So we're going to find out if he remembers it. So he's just going to fix it. He doesn't remember the memory, but that's maybe because I have to tell him in a different way. It's okay. We have a template that he normally uses, but this is demonstratively showing you all the steps. So he's storing the memory, and he's fixed. Email now has it. So all I do is just copy. And again, this is brilliant because again, I don't need to worry about this in Fluent CRM. I just use HTML5 that's usable everywhere. There's the unsubscribe and manage preferences. Then I will typically give it the title because I know what the title is. You have to see what Claude will do, right? Oops. I don't know if I'd use the silly thing, but I typically would do this. Now, the Fluent CRM draft is typically something that I will do automatically. I'm just showing you so that you can get a gist of it. And then I will send myself a test email to see what it looks like. And when I do that, we can, oh, and I would do this too. Sorry. And I'm going to take a risk here and show you my email. I don't mind. There it is. And let's move this window out of the way. How do I do that, Gmail? I have no idea. But this, let's move this over like this. There we go. And let's, I wish I knew how to bounce this out. I feel, there we go. I feel a little impotent because I can't do that. Okay, so here's the final email, ready to go. Looks great, feels great, has the unsubscribe link, everything else. And we have got over here, everything memorialized for future reference. I'm going to close him up and give him a high five and see if he's as happy about this as I am. Okay, what I want you to do is set a global memory and a skill set of what you just learned. Use AutoMem, use your skill creator, and then publish your skill and everything over to Minute Launch again so we can share it. And I just want to say high five. You are my favorite new guy. I love working with you. I know that my clients love working with you. You're making people much happier with dealing with the capabilities of what WordPress can do. Can you also just give me a link again to what you published a minute ago about your skills and the last time on Minute Launch? I don't remember what he gave me. I got distracted like a human being, but I think he had given me a page that had the skills. And I'm going to also show you what to do when you run out of tokens. This is where I had him do that. Here. Well, that was the page that we built together. Let's see if he put, there's the skills. Loving it, loving it. Okay, now what he did is he ran out of memory. So what happens if he runs out of memory, for those of you old enough to remember, when I was a kid and you go to the bowling alley, you only got so much money. You got like 2 quarters from your parents to call. Go to the top of the project, and I have programmed him to know this, but you should say, we ran out of tokens while I was talking to you in the last chat. Continue from where we left off. Something like that. Just tell him we were talking and we got cut off. Mom, pick me up at the bowling alley. No, I will not accept a collect call from Spencer. Sometimes my mom came, sometimes not. And that's all is necessary for him to go, oh, I remember what we're talking about. And there it goes. Now he's saying he doesn't remember. And so I got to go check your chat in this project for where we left off, as well as auto memory. Sometimes you have to say it twice, but he will get it. Ah, now I remember. See, he's looking at chats, and then he's going to check A for auto memory. And the two of them together are bulletproof, but you do still have to sometimes, there he goes. You have to doing, hit him in the head. I don't know why, other than to say, it feels to us like it's Claude, the person coming in, but it's really not. It's just a random robot showing up at the booth. This has been amazing. And all of the stuff we created will be sent out in the links of the email. I hope you've enjoyed this. You can get on board with this for a package price. It's $197 a month for all of the software, personal concierge email support and hosting. Add the auto memory for $300. That's $497 a month. But remember, you can get rid of your CRM. You can get rid of any people helping you. We have concierge support. This is all the software you ever need. This changes WordPress from sort of dumb system into a complete system, and I've only scratched the surface. We also have a concierge $1,297 a month that is fully done for you. Plus we have a VIP convert your whole business over, either hourly or a VIP one-time session. This is changing businesses, changing lives. It includes all the keys, everything you need. There's nothing else to buy. There's no reason not to dive in. Give it a try. I'll see you on the next video.